talked about just before we went on break. The Constitution talks about Nigeria being a secular state. But it's more accurate, or would it be more accurate to describe Nigeria as a country, a multi-religious society, judging by the overreaching influence of religion in all aspects of our national life?
Well, to start with, in point of fact, that word secular did not occur in the Nigerian Constitution at all. Nigeria is not secular. Nigeria is multi-religious. The intent of the Constitution that no religion should be adopted as a state religion, recognizing the plurality of the Nigerian society, and this does not in any way mean that Nigeria is secular by any standard, legal or theological. Nigeria is not secular. Nigeria is multi-religious. It is not even only about Islam and Christianity. There are other religions, in Nigeria. What the Constitution has done is to guarantee the freedom of worship, the freedom of association, the freedom to practice your conviction to the extent that it respects the rights of the others. That's just a quick one. However, I must quickly go, return to the point about laying the theoretical basis for this discussion. We must be very careful indeed. Facts are very sacred. How, when, and under what condition, do we have this demonization that we talked about? We must not forget that for a very long time, since the time of the Crusades, we've had the problem of mutual suspicion, the fear of domination. All right? This is not inspired by religion itself, but by the inordinate ambition of people who claim to be religious. If we take account of the crusade and its impact on the world, we would be amazed by the fact that a lot of lives were lost needlessly. And this was done in the name of God. Catholicism. But in essence, it was not about God, it was about gold. It was not about God at all. It was about empire building. It was about influence peddling. It was about domination of others. Now, we must not forget about these. Now, of course, there were reactions to that. And we must trace it back to that. Of course, we must not forget 1948. The creation of Israel had a lot of impact in on the Arab world. And of course, there was also this demonization. Unfortunately, a section of Christianity believes in the biblical Israel as, the present Israel, they believe is the biblical Israel. Not therefore recognizing the negative impact of Zionism on the Arab nation. Of course, when the people are repressed, when they are suppressed, when their lands are confiscated on the basis of, history, people are bound to react. This is not about religion. It's about self-preservation. All right. Incidentally, you have two groups. One, Muslim population. The other, maybe Christian, maybe Jewish population. This is very important, and we must remember. Number two, we must also remember the so-called northernization agenda was not targeted at Christianity or Christians. You will recall very well, if we read our history, that under the Sardauna, Christians in northern Nigeria had a sense of belonging. So many of them were not even qualified to be in the armed forces through the influence of that. Northernization is about developing the North as distinct from the South. It is on record that the premier, the late premier of northern Nigeria, Sir Ahmadu Bello Sardauna, was very accommodating. Some of the closest people to him were Christians. He never discriminated. Sunday Awuni was his secretary, was a Christian. Yes.
Was head of Arewa.
Yes, yes.
All right, if I'm coming here, Pasoladi, if the religious tenets that we have pervading our socio-economic life, basically, I mean, are supposed to produce moral values, better citizens, better leaders, how is it that since religion plays such a big role, it doesn't seem to translate to service to the people?
Well, let me take up by agreeing with him, because he made a point here that whenever the issue of demonization starts, the objective is not to improve morals. The objective is control. Now, no matter what we say here, we have to recognize that right now, the global resurgence of Islamism is a reality. As we sit down right now, about 20% of Nigeria's territory is under occupation. There's a lot of unnecessary bloodshed that is going on, and it is cloaked under the guise of religion. We must not run away from the fact that these things was engineered into us. We are Africans. We had no idea of all these things before. These things were engineered into our foundations, and we are still not, I don't like to use the word intuitive or intelligent enough to realize that a lot of the enmities that we are seeing, okay, let's take for instance, your child does an exam, he scores 70%, he cannot gain admission into his school. Another child in a northern part of the country scores 15%, gains admission. You see, no matter what you say, you have set them against each other. In my days, I attended Ahmadu Bello University. I don't see a northerner being dull, and I don't see any southerner being brighter than a northerner. And when I look at all these quota system and laws that were engineered into Nigeria, they were engineered to keep us apart. So the reality is this. The northernization agenda started in 1948. We have only survived as a country because in the South, like he said, in the Southwest, we have learned to be accommodating, we have learned to love one another, we have learned to promote peace, and we've learned to keep moving forward. The moment a Southernization agenda was created using Christianity to create hatred against northern Nigeria, Nigeria's days are numbered if we don't arrest it quickly. It was done by politicians for political gain.
I'll come back to you, Dr. Ladi. We'll come back to this conversation, but our correspondent from the United Kingdom, Doris Okenwa, is standing by on Skype to speak with us. Hello, Doris.
Hi.
You had a debate or a forum that was held on Wednesday where Nigerians sat down to talk about the elections, and indeed I understand there was a debate there. But when you reported on that, you said something about rhetorics and the fact that some of the people there did not seem convinced by the conversation. Why did you say that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, question came through from participants after the representatives of PC and PDP, sold themselves. Participants were wondering why there wasn't much depth in the conversations about the economy, about fixing the economy, about the fact that the budget, how is the budget going to be funded? The fact that you have this economic downturn from the oil, from the drop in oil prices, what's going to happen to that regardless of whoever comes into power? And then how the violence is going to be mitigated, talk about Boko Haram and, electoral violence. Do we have enough security personnel to man the whole country? And, the bigger issues, of where the country is going, what they felt in their own words, that was presented to them were rhetorics where the parties, said the same thing again, the same thing they had heard about the candidates and, sang their praises, if you like, but many people were not too convinced that they were giving them the real gist, going beyond just praise singing, but why exactly should we believe in these people that you're fielding?
Okay,